Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. This is LSID932 on YouTube. I hope you will do me a favor, like the video, share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below and let me know your takes, your thoughts, your ideas about Love is Blind and any of the other shows that I'm covering. So I am of two minds. I was not going to review Love is Blind, the reunion. It was giving some things, but it wasn't giving what I wanted to receive. But then I had to say, girl, you've been with the show this far. Keep it going. So this is off the dome. I do not have my notes like I usually would have. I do not have things written out. I don't have a sequence. So this is off of the dome. So let's go. Let's start with Garrett and Taylor. Okay. They are happily married. They have found their one. I'm happy for them. The science of this experiment works for these scientists. I just had to make that joke. Next, should I go next? No, let's stick with the fellas. So Garrett has a fishing crew. You know, he has gone to fishing with Taylor. We did see some photos. The fellas have gone fishing with him. And, you know, it seems like Garrett is truly, you know, a form of glue that keeps these folks together. I found out that Garrett walked in Fashion Week. I didn't know this is why he brought his hair. He has the shadow. So he is exploring the science of fashion. We do see Taylor's parents in the audience, and they're just so happy that she's happy, and her dad is happy he did not have to shell out all this money for a fabulous wedding. Dad, I understand, but if I was Taylor, I'd be like, okay, you don't have to spend the wedding money, but yeah, we're looking for a place in DC to buy, and that wedding money, Dad, could really come in handy. Next, we have Ashley and Tyler. They are married. They are still together. They're holding on to each other tightly, as we saw on the couch. And I am of two minds of this. You know, Ashley has decided to stay with her husband, and that is commendable. But we have seen a lot of things in social media. Ashley is saying she knows it all. I'm not sure how much all is, but hey, she says she knows it all, and she wants to stick by him. My thing is, Ashley, is going to cost. The all is going to cost a lot. And if you go out into social media, you will see that it's not just the 3 children in question, but there are other things in his history, allegedly, that you could see that, you know, may be difficult. So the other part of this is, if I was Ashley's friend, you know, you cannot make decisions for your friend. I don't know Ashley. All I know is the edited version of Ashley and this edited reunion. You know, the thing is to be there for my friend. I will say, hey girl, this ain't it. But if you in it, please understand that and respect that I'm going to keep my distance from this. But if you ever need me in the future, you know, let me know. And I wouldn't be the, I told you so, I knew this was going to happen, or probably this would happen. No, I'll be happy for you from afar. I won't be in it with you. So Ashley has decided to stick with Tyler, but I believe he is, you know, riding on a lie. It's an untruth, or he's using just enough truth to surf on a lie. And that to me is very dangerous. And the reason why I would be a person to keep my distance is I don't want to be pulled into any of your storytelling with my friend. That will be it. So she decided to stick. She says she knows more than the internet. I guess she knows more than the judicial system as well. So I'm like, hey, have it, Ashley. Have your marriage. Tyler, keep on being good to that woman, because this woman is out here taking the hits on social media for you. Be kind. Be nice to her. Be good to her. But I'm like, you're denying children you have fathered. That couldn't sit well with me. But that's just me. You're not married to me. So I'm not the one that has to live with it. Next up, who shall we go to next? Well, let's take on Steven and Monica. Apparently, Steven sometimes can remember the text messages. Sometimes he doesn't. I'm not sure with Steven where he stands or sits or sleeps. We did get confirmation that he did go to a sleep test. We saw pictures of him all hooked up. So I'm guessing Steven was actually at a sleep test study. Okay. I'll give him that because I asked for the copay statement, but I'll give him that. So Steven is like, he doesn't know this person. He just knows them through Instagram and messaging, and he messaged them and they kind of developed a rapport. So you will step out on your relationship to entertain conversations with someone you have never met. Yes, Steven, that ain't it. But I guess Steven and Monica came off real easy because nobody asked her, Monica, what about the flowers? The flowers! What's the constant flowers? And the fireworks. There's a few other things you could unpack with Steven and Monica, but they let them off lightly. Okay. Next up, let's see. Ramses and Marissa. Ramses cut off his 2 locks and he is, come with his, full mohawk with nice little lines. Marissa's mother is in the audience. And what can I say? What can I possibly say other than they cleared it up? They did have a longer conversation about birth control. They came up with a method together that they both can live with. And that's all you need in relationships, the conversation, and you both can understand each other. So I'm like, Marissa and Ramses, hey, y'all decided, y'all had a conversation. I just don't understand the heat Marissa has for other people on the couch. And the heat Marissa has for other people on the couch is what let it be known that she was still bumping and grinding with Ramses after the fact. And Ramses was like, like he didn't want it to be known that they were, hooking up, not shacking up. They weren't living together, but it's like, hey, what you doing? Knock on the door. Let me test drive this. Seems like what they were doing. So in that vein, let's move on to Nick and Hannah. Hannah is still berating Nick. Hannah, I guess, just wants Nick to admit he didn't like how she looked. And it's okay if he didn't like how you looked. It's Love is Blind. He didn't know what you look like. It's okay if this is not what he expected. Why are you trying to hit him over the head about it? So even if he didn't like how you looked, and he talked about it off camera with friends, he never came on camera to be nasty to you, Hannah. He never came on camera to talk about your bedroom life. He never came on camera and talked about your friends. Yet here Hannah is admitting on camera at the reunion that she and her friends went through Nick's stuff. And when they went through Nick's stuff, they found his journal where it says that, he wanted to be the most famous person on Love is Blind. So what? That doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. Has he done anything to actually be the most famous person on Love is Blind? Nick hasn't done anything to even be so much as a blip on the radar of Love is Blind. Anybody could say that. Any one of them. I mean, Ramses could say the most fashionable. He was out there with the fashion. I mean, come on. And this is what you're rounding up the posse for? Because it's like all the girls are up against Nick. It's okay. Hannah didn't like how Nick looked. She has admitted it. She didn't like how he looked. She thought he was going to be like a linebacker. She had buyer's remorse. That's what I think about Hannah. She had buyer's remorse. She got rid of Nick. And then she got skittish when she realized Leo was dating Brittany. And then she decided to bring Nick back only for her to be like, this is what I brought back. Dang. That's what I think happened with Hannah. Buyer's remorse. So now she's like, okay, I'm stuck with this guy, but I don't really like him. And it all came out in how she treated him, the words she used with him. It was just too much. If you don't like the guy, you don't like him. You don't like how he looked, that's fine. Leaving out lists, doing this, berating him like if he is an employee. Yet here you are unemployed. On the show at the time, you were unemployed. Now we find out that Hannah has a management team. So who really was trying to use Love is Blind to really get themselves a deal? Because I think it was Hannah. Because nobody's coming out with management. Well, maybe Garrett, because he's doing modeling contracts, but Garrett was a physicist before this. He had his own career and job. But Hannah, come on. You didn't like how Nick looked either. But you treated him badly. And you're like, oh yeah, but I'm just a direct person. Yes, but that's cruel. Yes, I just say it how I mean it. That's just cruel. And from one woman who used to be very direct, I used to be very direct. I used to be very direct. Oh, it was bad. I used to be so direct. I used to say, it's not how I say, it's how you take it. But at some point, you have to realize you want to get the message across. Okay? You want to get the message across to that person and not a feeling of being berated. Hannah came in with a posse because Marissa was on her side. Marissa was on Hannah's side hard. Hard. Why? I didn't get that. Why was Marissa so gung-ho on Nick when she couldn't even get a word in edgewise with Ramses? You're going in on Nick about Hannah, yet Ramses wasn't catching this fire. And so much so you're going into Nick. That's when you tell all of us, including your mama, realized you were still hitting it with Ramses. So apparently it wasn't that bad. Apparently what I think is you were using that to draw him in. Probably you thought that's what Ramses wanted based on the conversations, that all he wanted was access to your body. But Ramses is like, okay, I'll have access, but I don't want to give you a relationship. You allowed that. If he didn't have access, if you didn't contact him, he wouldn't have access. He can't have access you don't allow or grant access to. So I'm just saying, Marissa, all this fire for Nick, you just let it all out. And Mama was shaking her leg the entire time after that. Mama was heated. I don't think Mama knew. I don't think Mama Marissa knew that this was going on. Because she sat there and said, you broke my daughter and I had to put her back together. Now you hear, after you put her back together, she's still sniffing around Ramses. That's rough. But getting back to Hannah, Nick. Hannah, how you treat someone? How you treat someone. I forgot the quote. How you treat the lowest of us is a testament to your personality. Not saying Nick is lower than anyone, but you deemed Nick as less than. You deemed him as lower than you, and you treated him like crap. No bueno. Not very nice. At all. Then I heard all other ladies like, admit it, Nick, you didn't like how she looked. So what if Nick didn't like how she looked? Even if Hannah was the most beautiful lady on that couch, her personality screamed ugly. Ugly behavior. So no matter how much he didn't like, she was a grenade. Yes, she was a grenade. In more ways than one, she was a grenade. Because that constant pop-off, that was a grenade. The pop-off about the duck. The pop-off about Katie saying he looks nice. That was great grenade behavior. So if I was Nick, I would have been 10 toes down. But I understand Nick doesn't, Nick isn't quick-witted at the time to say stuff like this that he, things wouldn't be perceived as attacking her. So because right there at the reunion, she was acting like a grenade. She was popping off. Like Marissa pulled her pin and say, girl, go. But it's like, ladies, let Hannah handle it. Hannah can handle it. Hannah's been handling it the entire season. She does not need a posse. Not at all. Next up, let me just run through these people. We have Leo and Brittany. They went to Miami. I guess, Leo sponsored the trip to Miami and Brittany got to see her friend. Now they're good friends. Apparently Leo likes to sample Brittany's drink before he has his. Even if they have the same drink, I'm telling you now, Your drink was served to you, my drink is served to me. That's it. But I like the, little cheeky pictures. They showed the engagement ring with his Rolex. It was really, really funny. But I'm glad they left on good terms. They are friends. They know each other. Leo did seem, a little downcast. Maybe it's because he realized he really wanted to be with Brittany. I don't know. Leo just seemed a little tuned down. His personality seemed more on simmer. It seemed on low boil. And I didn't get it. It seemed sad, like a wet paper towel. It didn't seem like the vibrant Leo from the pods. So I just don't get it, but wish them well. Then we have Tim and Alex. Tim and Alex. Glad they clarified that she was, not trying to put her hands on him in a violent manner. But I will tell you right now, calling him the B word, not a good look. My thing is, how they explained it, she went off back to the room. He's like, where's my lady? He went after her to see what he could do, how he could help her. She's not explaining stuff. She's not telling him, I need space. 3 words. I need space. That's it. We are new to each other. We dated for 10 days without seeing each other. This is the second or third day we're in person. I don't know your physical cues. I don't know your social cues. I don't know. Say, hey, hun. Hey, I need a minute. I'm not having a good time right now, but please stay at the party. Give me at least 10 minutes in the room, and then you could come in. That's all it took. I'm having an emotional moment. I need some space. I need some time. But since you're not communicating, he doesn't know. So he comes to the room. He's trying, hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And you're nothing. Nothing. That person is like, I did something. You're new. It's understandable. You're new to each other. I did something wrong. I need to fix this. What can I do? And they are agitating you. I know. They're agitating you with the words, their presence, and you're like, I'm trying to deal with this for me, and now here you come needing me to deal with this for you. And now I gotta carry my emotional state, and now you're getting into the emotional state. I understand where both of them are coming from, but when you start escalating, things escalate, you have to speak to your partner, even if it's after 2 days or 3 days of seeing each other. Y'all are engaged. I'm sure she told Tim, hey, I need my space right now. He would, but he also said he tried to leave. He tried to leave the hotel room and she wouldn't allow it. So that's a mixed message. Then throughout the course of the argument, it's like she says she shushed him so that, production wouldn't hear him or wouldn't hear an argument and portray them as a fighting couple. I understand that. I hope it's as it is, but I think it's as a cover. But all I know is this edited show. But then how do we go from I'm shushing you to protect you from production and from being seen as angry black male to calling you a little B and out your name? How do we get from here to there? 3 days from the pods. I don't get it. So how are you covering him and then calling him a little B? No matter how agitated you are, I don't get that part. Then he mentally checked out, but then you're like, hey, why would I be nice to your parents or go all out for your parents when you express doubts in marrying me? Anyone can have doubts. You can have a doubt until you are standing at the altar. And now I understand, and I used to get on Tim about you shouldn't have talked to her father, you shouldn't have gotten her father's blessing. But Alex expressly said in the pods, I cannot get married without my father's blessing. So even if Tim, at that time, he wasn't expressing any doubts until after the parents. So he's like, hey, sir, can I talk to you? Can I get your blessing? Because if Alex is to say yes, or even the possibility of saying yes, Dad has to approve. So here's Tim. Okay, got the blessing. Now, after the cookout with the family where he bought the groceries, he cooked, and he's expected to clean up. He's expected to do the groceries. Here he is. Now, I don't know if this is the woman for me. I have some doubts. I did all of this for your family. You didn't even help me cook, so you didn't even help me clean. I saw your apartment. I'm not sure this is the woman for me. That's okay. He can take until the moment at the altar to decide this is not the woman for me. Everybody has that option. We can wait till the altar and then say, you are not the one for me. We can say as many overtures to the parents as we can, but you have until the officiant asks you, you can say no. So I'm not blaming Tim on this instance. Get the parents' blessing. That's what she needs to be able to say yes. That's what she needs to continue in the process. Get it. It doesn't mean that 5 minutes later she isn't going to do something that doesn't turn you off. Come on now. We're all human. So I'm guessing, after that apartment, Tim got the ick. let me leave that alone. But Tim has the opportunity to say no at any time. He can say, hey, the woman I knew in the pods is amazing. You raised a wonderful child. But then later on, I go and I see your apartment is going to be, no more. But the constant berating Tim, and no one is berating Alex. You knew the camera crew was coming and you left your apartment in that state. No one came after Alex about that. But we want to harp on Tim. Everyone, including Ramses, who said he had doubts. Ramses vocalized his doubts. Tim didn't. Communication, they're not talking to each other. The same way Tim is like, please let me know that you got home. I think that the disconnect majorly for Alex and Tim, the total disconnect is that Tim wants to behave like he's in a relationship. Call me when you get home. Hey, you look like you have a flat tire. Hey, what's this? Hey, what's that? Hey, what's going on? Tim is acting like he's in a relationship. Alex is still getting there. And because we're at two different speeds, we're not meeting each other on the highway. And I think that's what their disconnect, one of their disconnects. So I don't know about this cast. We have, one couple I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the rest of them to find their happiness. Find a therapist. Yeah, find a therapist and then go find your happiness. Because don't let this infect your next relationship. I like some of the old cast members that were there, but I'm not a fan of that whole segment. And they kept on going back to other people. And it's like, leave it alone. You can do a montage of memories. You can do a Love is Blind, Where Are They Now? Do that, because then I would get more meat and bones off of that episode than anything else. Where are they now? And you could do a whole caption collage of all the couples. And even for those who don't wish to go on the show, we know there's a few of them that no longer wish to come back. You can get a montage from social media to let people know where they are. But the reunion, it barely gave fashion. It barely gave anything. Didn't even tell us much of what, I think AD and Marshall are on Perfect Match. They didn't even mention that. They did mention the next round. They had 3 contestants from the next round of Love is Blind there. And I wonder how many of them did get married. So I guess we're heading to Minneapolis next in the U.S. Well, I wish to thank you all for joining me for this episode of Love is Blind Season 7 DC The Reunion. I wish for you to please like the video, share, subscribe to the channel. And guess what? I found out Love is Blind Argentina is coming up. So please join me and click around my channel and see what other videos you may be interested in. And let me know in the comments any suggestions of shows I should review. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.